All right, I'm gonna get straight to it. The title says why you cannot get in shape using calisthenics or bodyweight movements. For those who don't know, calisthenics is just pretty much bodyweight movements: pull-ups, dips, push-ups, bodyweight squats, just anything using your body weight as the resistance to for strength training. I actually believe you can get in shape using bodyweight movements. I think it's the best way, to be honest with you. This is for my people about 40 and up. I mean, it could apply for you if you're in your 20s and 30s, definitely in your 30s, and it could apply in your 20s as well. But I'm just thinking about people a little bit older, and the reason is because, and I'm gonna get to the reasons. But here's the thing about calisthenics: most people don't want to do calisthenics. That's the reason why they can't get in shape using calisthenics, because calisthenics is tough because you use a majority of your muscles when doing certain movements. When you're doing pull-ups, yeah, it's mainly the focus is mainly on your back and buys, but you're using so much of your other muscles in your body just to stabilize yourself, just to stabilize yourself. That's why you'll see some people get up there and do pull-ups and they swinging, or they doing pull-ups and they coming up and out, you know. And that happens when you get a little bit exhausted, but a lot of times you should just be doing it straight and contracting your lats and being able to go straight up. Most people can't even do that. But it takes a lot. It's a lot easier when I don't feel like going to the gym to go in there and do lat pull down and then do some rows. Right? I do lat pull down, I sit there, I got something holding me in place on my legs, and I grab the bar and I just and then I get to sit down and relax. Versus, all right, today we doing pull-ups. Same amount of reps, but we just doing pull-ups. You got to jump up there and pull up your whole entire body, and then keep your core tight and keep your body tight for you to pull yourself up, or else you'll just be all over the place. Same thing with inverted rows. If you don't know what inverted rows is, just look it up. But it's, when you're doing rows, and I'm sure most of the people watching this is not going to be like complete beginners. So when you're doing inverted rows, it's the same thing. I gotta keep my core tight, and I gotta pull my body up for the most part. Yeah, your feet are on something, but it's still tough. And then if you go over to push, right? Bench press, you get to lay down and just do bench, and then you get the rest right there. If you don't even have to sit up if you don't want to, and you laying down. So you being lazy in a sense, and this is why you can see a lot of people in the gym, and they go to the gym regularly, but they don't really look that great. They just kind of like puffy. They don't really look shredded or anything like that. They not they. It's no real definition, and they out of shape. You have them do something where it's gonna require some endurance, and they got nothing for you. Why? Because even a form of exercise is just like I give you 10 seconds and then I'm good and then I'm resting. You know what I mean? You need to keep that heart rate going. You need to keep the heart rate going the whole time so you be burning calories. If you're 25, 30 pounds overweight and you're trying to get in shape, even if you're a little heavier, but like if you 25, 30 pounds overweight, you got a high body fat percentage, you in that 25, 30, 35%, which a lot of people are, do calisthenics. I know what you're thinking. Well, I really can't do calisthenics because I can't push my body. I can't do pull ups. Well, you do modified versions of everything. There's modified versions you could do. Stop playing with it and get in there and do what you know you're supposed to be doing. It's tough, but you know you this is gonna get you in shape. I was having a discussion with somebody I know, and I won't mention their name, but they kept saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna get with you on the calisthenics." They will always ask me, "Yeah, you going here, bro? Let's go right now. We good. We could go right now." Ah, nah, yeah, I gotta hit these weights. Why do you have to hit these weights? Oh, I gotta touch these weights. There's nothing special. You don't grab the weight and suddenly get energized and now you turn into Super Saiyan. It's not how it works. So when you say I gotta do these weights, and it wasn't like he was doing, bench press, even though I just said something about bench press, but it wasn't like he was doing a big three. He'll go in there and do bicep curls. He'll go in there and do tricep extension. If you want to hit your triceps, let's go hit the dips. But you don't want to do that because you know it exerts a lot of energy from you. And it's easier to go do tricep extension or tricep push down. You know what I mean? Doing something on the machine or the cable. It's a lot easier. That's why people don't want to do calisthenics. But the thing is, when you get in shape, when you use calisthenics to get in shape, you build your overall work capacity when you're doing many things. It's not about overall just strength. Even for those people who stick with heavy bench press and stuff like that. Now, I'm not knocking you if you're doing it for certain reasons. I'm not knocking you, period. Do whatever you feel like you need to do. I'm just saying what I think is the best to get in shape. All right, everybody had their own reason why they live, but if you, for most people, the majority of people who go and exercise, they want to get in shape. They tired of being, fat and sloppy looking and not having endurance and stuff, but then they're using all the wrong ways to get in shape. What they'll do is they'll go into the weight room and you lifting, and then they start lifting heavy. They feeling good because they pushing some weight, they moving some weight, but they not really getting themselves in shape. They're not looking better, and they don't have no strength endurance. And strength endurance is probably more important than overall strength. If you could bench 405, and I know that's a high number, that's cool and all, but it'd be better if you can bench 275 and you doing that, and you could do it for reps over and over and for many sets. You know what I'm saying? Or even 225. I ain't even gonna go that drastic. Let's go 225. But I'm able to do 10 sets of 15 or something like that. You feel what I'm saying? That's a lot. You know what I mean? And with a short break time, not with a long break time, because it's about strength endurance. That's what's gonna translate. When it's time to move, when you gotta move from your house or apartment to another, it's the strength endurance that's going kick in. When fellas, you know what I'm saying, if you out here and you with your lady and you holding yourself up, that being able to hold yourself up is going to be more important than how much you bench. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of dudes who could bench a lot, but they can't hold themselves up for that long because they have no core strength. They don't have the connection from the chest, the front delts, the triceps to the core to even hold themselves up. This is no yo, I've done weight training. I've done powerlifting style. I've done calisthenics. I've been doing this for years, so I can speak on both. And when I'm in the best shape, I'm doing calisthenics. When I'm able to, I'm in the bedroom and I'm doing my thing. It's from when I'm able to do a lot of push-ups and I'm able to hold myself up there. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies, you let me know how y'all feel about that when a dude get tired. He up here for a little bit. Now he got to rest on it. He got to rest on you because he can't even he can't last for more than a minute holding that plank. You feel what I'm saying? The plank works the entire body in a sense. You know what I mean? So, and if you don't believe me, go pre-exhaust your quads. I know I'm everywhere with this, but pre-exhaust your quads by doing a whole bunch of squats or something like that. Like really get it weak, and then go hold the plank and tell me your quads you're not feeling it in your quads. You're feeling it in your quads because when you're doing a plank, you still gotta engage the quads just to hold that plank. So doing push-ups, doing dips, that's gonna get you push-ups, dips, pull-ups, inverted rows. That's gonna get you in shape. That's gonna have you looking better. You're gonna burn more calories. And the other thing is, when you lifting weights, if you say, okay, I really want to cut down and I want to look good, when you're in a caloric deficit, you start losing strength. So whatever numbers if you that person that was benching 315, and now you saying, yo, you know what, you was benching 315, and I'm gonna go a little higher. You was benching, I'm gonna go 315, right? You was able to get 315. You 6 feet, 245 pounds, but you're a little chunky, and you like, yo, I want to get down to like 215 because I want to look good. You know what I'm saying? And you bench at 315. You don't go to the gym on a regular basis, but you go enough where you can bench 315. You feel what I'm saying? And now you start cutting down weight. That 315 might not go up anymore. You feel what I'm saying? Now you feeling weak, which makes you not want to go to the gym. Or you're gonna be like, man, I can't cut like this. I'm gonna bulk back up a little bit. You because you don't like the fact that you're losing your strength. Because everything becomes harder. Now it's like, yeah, 315 I was putting up easy, but now when I go in there to put up 315, I'm struggling through that. Well, when you're doing calisthenics, guess what? That's a complete opposite. As you lose weight, your push-ups become easier, which is gonna make you do more. Your dips become easier, which is gonna make you do more. Your pull-ups, your inverted rows, they all become easier. So it's gonna make you do more. You're gonna get more volume in. Volume builds more muscle than anything else. You don't build muscle doing 3 sets of 6. You feel what I'm saying? You build muscle doing 6 sets of 6. I was just throwing out the number 6. Obviously, you want to go for more reps in that 12 range, 15, 20. They say muscle hypertrophy happens all the way up to 35 reps. And you still could get muscle hypertrophy. There's a bunch of studies. I can't quote them right now because I don't remember them off the top of my head, but I've seen a bunch of different studies. All the way up to 35 reps, you can still build muscle hypertrophy. Most people don't want to go up 35 reps because it burns, but you still can. So you want to be able to do more volume overall because that's going to help with muscle. Now, when you cutting, a lot of times people feel like, well, when you cut, you're going to lose some muscle. That's not necessarily true if you cut the right way. I'm cutting right now. I lost about 7 pounds since May, cutting slow, doing all calisthenics, and I haven't lost any muscle. I'm just trimming up. I'm just losing fat, and as I'm cutting, I'm making sure to cut slow. I don't want to cut too fast because I want to maintain my muscle. If you cut too fast, that's what's going to happen too. Now I know what you're saying. You could probably apply that in the weight room as well. And you could cut a little bit slower. But the thing is, the other thing that I'm doing is I'm just doing more. I'm also doing more reps and more volume and raising my heart rate even more, which is helping as I'm still strength training. I'm getting more muscle strength endurance because I'm doing my calisthenics and then doing more reps and condensing the time as well. So my rest time. So before, where I used to rest like a minute and a half, now I'm only resting like pretty much on average about 30 seconds, depending on how I got it set up. And I'll talk about that another day. But it has me sweating. It did have me sweating a lot. And now I'm starting to reduce how much I sweat. Why? Because I'm just getting in better shape overall. So my strength endurance is increasing. And then as I'm dropping weight, I'm actually doing better with the reps, which means I'm getting more volume, which means I'm burning more calories. You know what I'm saying? It keeps me motivated. That's the biggest thing, is about keeping you motivated. You don't want to lose motivation when you're cutting because your strength is going down. That's the biggest thing. You're losing weight and your strength going down. That's going to make you feel like, damn, man, I don't want to go to the gym. I got to go in here and do something, and I know I'm gonna be struggling. You know what I mean? People don't want to do that, and struggling is more so is like, it's not that it's harder. It's just you're struggling because you can't do the same weight. Because calisthenics is always still going to be tough. It's just taxing. You know what I'm saying? It's taxing on just your mind, because you're like, damn, yo, I got to go in here and I got to pull up my whole entire body. You know what I mean? So, but I would just say continue doing calisthenics as a way to lose weight. And then, you could do your walk and your cardio, whatever you want to do. Some people do weight training and then they do their cardio. At the same time, I think walking you need to do regardless, right? You walk after every meal. That's the biggest thing. But to save time, I would just do my calisthenics and then do it in a more rapid pace. You can do that with weights as well. The problem is your numbers are going to drop so fast, you're not going to be able to stick to it. And not only that, even if you can, and when I say your numbers are going to drop fast, I mean in the sets. Like you do 10 reps, and then the next one, if your break is only 30 seconds, you're going to just be dropping too quick. But you could build up your work capacity and be able to maintain a little bit more. But the problem is you're not working your core. You're not connecting your mind to all your muscles and your body, and having your body, the muscles in your body connect with one another properly, because you're more isolating. You're doing bench, you kind of just isolating. We're here. If I'm doing push-ups or I'm doing dips, my core is engaged as well. You feel what I'm saying? So I just have more control of my body, and that just goes a long way. And it feel better. You don't tend to feel as beat down. Your joints and stuff like that just don't tend to feel as beat down when you're doing calisthenics. So from a person who's been doing, and I probably should have stated this earlier, off and on weights calisthenics for the last 20 years. Damn, it's been 20 years. Shit, I feel like I'm getting old, but definitely, yeah. Damn, yeah, it's about 20 years, maybe longer. But I feel better when I'm doing calisthenics, and it translates. This is for 40 and up. Another thing I should have probably said, because 40 and up, 30, you can kind of go 30 and up. 20-year-olds, y'all, I ain't making my videos for y'all, but it could still apply to y'all. I would still use calisthenics as the way to go because it's long lasting. You when you if you get in the calisthenic community, most of the people there are fairly healthy when it comes to um, their body, their joints, ligaments, all of that stuff, their tendons. They feel better than the people who mainly focus on weights. Now you have hybrid athletes where they do weights and I do a little bit of weights too. So don't get me wrong, I still do some weights because I hit my side delts with some dumbbells or some bands, if depending on if I'm at the park or not, because it's hard to kind of hit the side delts how you want to, and the rear delts how you want to. But even with that, I keep it fairly light. I'm not trying to. You shouldn't be going super heavy with delt work anyways. Side delt, when you isolating it, there's no need to, because volume is king. So you want to get in more reps. But outside of that, I don't really hit the weights like that. Now, weighted calisthenics, that's a whole different thing. You can do weighted calisthenics, but using all these machines and shit, it's not necessary. You know what I'm saying? Use your body weight movements, and then if you want to add extra resistance over time, then you can put some weight around you. Same thing with a squat. People forget that a body weight squat, is calisthenics. Putting a bar on my back is weighted calisthenics. It's the same as if I'm doing a push-up and you put a plate on my back. That's weighted calisthenics. Or doing dips and I put it around my waist. I got the chain hanging with the you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. With pull-ups, it's weighted calisthenics. So a squat is weighted calisthenics. When you start using a leg press machine and stuff like that, that's something different. So don't be afraid to do calisthenics. I know it's tough, but you'll get better and you'll thank yourself later because you'll be in better shape. And for the fellas out there, it's going to help you with your stroke game. Pause. When you above your lady and you holding yourself up like this in that plank position, bench press is not going to hold you up like that. It's doing high rep push-ups. You know what I'm saying? Doing burpees, doing knee tucks where you holding yourself like this and you bringing your knees up to your chest. That's going to help you when you in that position. Ain't nothing. If you ask the ladies, I'm sure they be mad when dudes be getting tired over a minute of strokes, and then all of a sudden they like, they laying their heavy ass on them. You know what I'm saying? Nah, yo, hold yourself up there, man. Ape style, gorilla style. Look at her the whole time while you holding yourself up there, and your shit's. She can see the veins popping in your arms, your chest popping, and all of that stuff. Come on, man. Come on, y'all know what to do. Calisthenics. I'm out.